So I'm driving home now. I decided to take the long way home. I just said goodbye to a good friend of mine, Indira. I wish her all the best, but she's going to be back, and I really support people not back to move back here, but she's going to visit her family periodically, so I'll see her enough. But I'm very happy for her, and I'm very glad that we've been able to share our friendship for the time that we have. But it's triggered me to think about relationships, and something Indira and I used to talk about a lot as we would talk about relationships and how I really like being single, but I also sometimes desire somebody to be with, but for the sense of companionship and kind of having someone that has your back. And one of the things that we've always discussed is the fact that some men just do not have, we're partners, but we're heterosexual, cis women, and so some men do not have their stuff together. And it's realistic that a lot of men do not, because of multiple reasons and multiple things. And I used to be very bitter about that. I used to feel very bad about the fact that men are sometimes incompetent and they are prone to not being dependable and all this other stuff. But now I just feel, I feel like, what can you do about that? What can you do? You can help a man enough, you can help a person enough to realize, my favorite place to dance in Chicago is around here, like by Scarlet, which is like my favorite place in Chicago. I took the long way, I took Halstead all the way north, instead of I could go dance there right now but I'm not in a mood to dance. I want to go home and meditate. But anyways, some men just don't get their lives together, and they refuse to grow, and they stay stunted in the state of, I'm afraid, so I'm going to stay there. And I think so many people are like that. Man, there's a lot of clubs are busy right now. Only 7 too, but it's a Sunday. And I find myself today, as I reflect on what I really want, because Indira and I have very similar views on life, and she's going to LA, and I told her that I would love to move, but the things I want to do are in Chicago, and I just got this job that I really, really enjoy, that's going to be good for my resume and my career, and it's showing me more about myself, telling me more about myself, and I'm learning from really great ministers and really progressive church, and I think it will be great for me. Eventually, though, I want to talk about relationships, and this is an interesting video for me even to kind of post, into the thought process is very interesting. I would love to be in a relationship with somebody, but it would take a really, really special somebody to be in my life, because I'm not desperate to find a man. I don't feel like a man makes your life more fulfilling if your life is already blah. I think that partnership and being with somebody, marriage or coupling, is beneficial for the sake of being there for the other person, and having someone that's committed to you to help you through life's hardest times. I think that is what it is for. Do I think or know if I would be able to agree to the other extra parts of marriage that have been made by man? I don't know. There are many things that have been made outside of that, but I do believe that relationships are specifically for that purpose, for two people deciding to be life partners, to have this life that they're deciding to commit to each other, to be accountable to each other's wrongs and all these different things, and to be there for each other when nobody else is. And that's what I find is really beautiful about relationships, is that some people have decided to be there for each other, and of course they're in love and they have a beautiful relationship that's physical and intimate and emotional intimacy, not just physical intimacy. And I desire that, yes, but I'm not going to settle just for anybody I think, and also I can't settle for anybody because I think I'm a really great catch, and you have to say that to yourself. Like, I think that I have a lot to offer somebody. I don't even say that to be proud or to be, like, oh, I'm the shit, which I do think I'm the shit. But I say that because why would I not even giving my life or commitment, like in the sense of like this big thing, why would I sacrifice my own sense of, not self, because I don't think you sacrifice yourself, but you you sacrifice the need to not compromise, in sense of like, okay, well, we're going to do this together instead of it's always about me, that kind of thing. Whether you're poly or not married, I think that there is always some sort of compromise, because you see this in friendships too, where you have to compromise. And I don't even mean that in a negative way, but I would not want to compromise for somebody else if they're not worth it. I think so many people do that. They compromise, and the divorce rate is so high. And I think there are a lot of reasons for why the divorce rate is so high. Like, my parents are not together anymore. I mean, my mother went missing and she was bipolar, but they also, didn't survive because of other reasons. Where am I going right now? I'm going to Target, which is up this way. And so there are a lot of things in this, and I just think that if you're going to choose a partner for life, or you're going to choose someone to really be like, okay, we're going to do this together, and neither one of us are going to be perfect, but I want to at least, go through life with you, and I want to be there for your deep times. And I think a lot of women and men, I think more men, but I'm a woman, so I might be biased in this. I feel that a lot of people don't think long term when it comes to their life. You never know what health issue you're going to have. You never know what mental, physical. You never know what career issue you're going to have. You never know what issue you're going to have in general. What life problem is going to come up. And it's always good to have friends around you and people, to be there for you in really dark times. I see a lot of men specifically. I'm saying this because I'm a heterosexual woman who is attracted to men. And so what my thing is, like, I think about what men want and need. I see a lot of men that are not committing to women. Well, a lot of men are not ready, and I think it's also the same for women, but a lot of men that don't commit to women because they are like, well, I want a woman with a perfect body, and I want this, and I want her to have all this stuff, and I just want to be on my own. I don't want to commit. But I think to myself, but what are you going to do? Don't you want someone who's going to be there for you, like in those hard times, like in those times where you've lost everything and you have nothing? I mean, I think about this stuff not very often, but when I see couples who are not on good terms with each other, I'm like, why did you choose this person? You knew they were not going to be there for you, so why choose them? I'm just gonna go to the Target all the way, like on Peterson, because this Target, I don't know where anything is. I can go to the other Target and just be out. And so why do people choose partners life partners? Like, I'm not even talking about marriage, but why do people choose people to spend their lives with that they know are not going to be there if they lose an eyeball or they go blind, or if they can't work out anymore, they don't have perfect abs, or they don't have the ability to keep working? I mean, you have to think about what you're going to do in those times, because you never know what's going to happen in life. You just never know. And that's why I am very picky, because there are a lot of people that I think I could date, and there are some people that I know I could marry, but would I be happy in that marriage? Would I be happy with them? We'd probably have amazing sex, and we probably would have a great bond and have a fun time. But also the other thing is, would I be able to have conversations with them that are not just based on, superficial things and the physical? I don't know. I don't know the answer to this. Or I guess I do. That's why I haven't accepted a marriage proposal from somebody. But, my goodness, that was a really hard pothole. You know when you go over a pothole, I really feel it. I'm like, let me sink into it. I'm passing Jonathan Allsup's house. I miss him so much. He's not far. He just doesn't live in Chicago anymore. He lives in Northern Illinois. So yeah, I think about these things, and I just was watching this video that pops up because I follow this YouTuber called Infinite Waters, and he's really an interesting man. I don't believe in everything that he says, but I was going through a hard situation with my family and career-wise, and I found his channel, and I found a lot of solace in a lot of things that he said. And one of the videos that popped up on my feed, like a recommendation, was how you know someone is the one. Which, I mean, I don't think that you can define the one, or there is the one necessarily, but I do think that I can learn from the stories of people. And what he was saying, and the reason why I found this appealing is because I work at this church, and I was talking to my boss about this older couple, which is really sad actually. She's in a wheelchair, and the guy has a very short temper, and they're older. They're like 60, and he's basically like abusing her and hitting her sometimes because he's frustrated. And she's hiding from him, and she's telling her my boss, who's a reverend, about it. And I'm just thinking like, oh, this is just so sad. Like, not that you would know from the beginning that this person is going to be abusive to you, but I was talking to my boss about this, and I was like, this is really sad because I see so many people in marriage. Why there are so many marriages out here, and I was telling Sarah this, why there are so many marriages where people are not thinking about the long term. You're not thinking about a commitment with somebody for better or for worse, you know. But even a partnership where it's like, for better or for worse, I'm going to be there for you. And you have to find someone who the terms that you want for your life are going to apply to the other person. And yes, like I said, there's compromise and you have to work things out, but I do think that it's possible to find someone that's going to help you in that way. And I also think that we live in this time where we put all this pressure on the other person to fulfill all of our needs, and it's unrealistic, and it's also exhausting to be in a relationship where the other person is so insecure about you leaving them for a second and yelling, and then they're like, you left me. I just think that's or like, you're not talking to me enough, you have to talk to me every night, and like, we have to have the same friends, we do everything together. Like, I don't want that for myself. Like, I'm a very independent person. I don't want someone to I don't want someone who is clingy. I mean, I'm talking to somebody now, and they're kind of clingy, and it also is a little bit of a turnoff. So I wonder if that's specifically related to that. Well, I also don't like those traits, but I have to think about why that specifically bothers me. So, yeah, I have a lot of friends that are engaged or that are in these successful relationships, and I don't envy them at all because it's not the stage of life I'm in. But I know that I would like to be in a partnership with somebody where we define our marriage on our own terms, and we have decided to go through life together to support each other in what we do, and to, you know, create a life that works for the both of us. And I really would like that for myself eventually. I have to get some cat food. Petco's not open. I go to Petco because that's where my cat points are, and my points for my account. I'll just go to Target. They have Blue Apron food there. Blue Wilderness, which is like a grain-free food for the cats. And yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there are a lot of factors in this finding the person, finding the one that you're going to choose. But like I have said before in the past, and I say this in, like, to my friends and to video, like, find yourself first. Oh my gosh, an Alaska license plate. I want to move to Alaska. I've been wanting to move to Alaska for a really long time, and there's an Alaskan, right? License plate in front of me. This place, Aroma Pizza, has really good tiramisu. It's really big too for $4. But side note, I'm driving through Chicago, so I'm seeing all this stuff. I'm like, yay! I'll share it with you. But yeah, I don't envy any of my friends. I feel like they have found that person that they want, but I know a lot of people don't know themselves yet. They don't know what they want. So how are you going to know what you want? How are you going to know what to ask of your partner if you don't know what you want? And how are you going to know what you want sexually if you don't know yourself sexually? And when I say sexual, I mean your whole person. Like, what makes you tick? Like, what turns you on? What turns you off? You know, those kinds of things. And yes, you can talk about this sexually, but I'm just talking about this realistically and very objectively. Why are we not going the arrows here? So, I don't know. So many people don't know themselves, and it makes me really sad for them, because it's like, well, you should try to get to know yourself, because you really are the one that you're going to be alone with at the end of the day. And a lot of people that I have worked with in the past are elderly, and their spouse has died. But you know, the people who are very happy are the ones who they had a really good marriage with their spouse. I mean, yes, the people who didn't have a great marriage with their spouse and the spouse is dead also are very happy. But I think that there's a bitterness there that is not seen in the other kind of relationship. So I just love, and I also love the grief that I see in spouses that, not love, because that sounds like I'm promoting death, but it's a natural part of life. I love to see people mourning over their spouse or their partner or a deep friend that they've had some sort of connection with, or a person that meant so much to them because of the life that they spent together. And it's not always sexual, because when you get older, you don't have sex. There's another thing, like, you shouldn't base your partner on sex. You should base it on intimacy, emotional intimacy, which is why I also want a lot of people, men and women, to explore themselves emotionally and to attach to people that are going to allow them to be emotionally intimate, because that's all you have at the end of your life. You can lose your penis, you can lose your vagina, you can lose your sex drive. Either, like, isn't it terrible to, like, one person have a high sex drive and the other one does not? But then you're like, well, we've agreed on this together and I still love you. Like, that's a beautiful thing to me. And not agree, like, that sounds like a contract, but for example, if I have a very high sex drive and I really like to have sex a lot, but if I was in a relationship with somebody that didn't have a high sex drive, but I had this amazing bond with so much that I don't even have to have sex with them, I mean, that's beautiful to me. And there have been some times where I've been emotionally intimate with somebody, and that was enough for me. That was it. That was almost as fulfilling as sex. And that's real love. That's real love when you're able to do that for somebody. And I mean, like, when someone is so, like, when you see someone's soul and their heart so much that the ability to be present for that in that time of grief and despair for that person, that you don't need to fuck them, like, it's just, there's nothing like that. And I've experienced that once before, and it's really beautiful. Maybe twice, but I remember specifically one time with a specific person. And this is what you have to think about in life, which is why I really advocate for people getting married later in life, because now with women's rights and women not having to be in the home, not now, but like since women's rights, women don't have to be in the home, and they don't have to depend on a man for all of their financial security. I mean, women don't have to wait. Women don't have to get married, they can wait. That's what I meant to say. And the ability to be able to wait is a great privilege. But with that, because also the other thing is, like, if you go to college, for example, I'm talking about the regular years for college. High school, 18-22. Let's say even 19-23. Let's say that. No, I'm sorry. College. That's what I meant to say. College, 19-23. Then you go to grad school. Most programs are 2 years. You take a year off. Let's add 24. Then you would go up 2 years, 26. You go to grad school, you finish. Then if you want to get a PhD, finish 30, 31. All right, post-PhD, go into the workforce, 2 years, 33. Finally, you are able to think about something other than your career, right? This is for people who want higher education. And then it takes about a year most of the time to So I'm talking about you're like 31, 32 right now. So this is the time where people usually figure out if they like who they want to be with and stuff like that. It takes a year, usually 6 months to a year to date. And then usually if you find someone, if you're lucky to find someone, 6 months in, and then a year after that you marry. So you're 32, 33 at this time. But what if you don't want to get married and you want to fuck around for a little bit? All right, let's add another 2 years, 34, 35. That's why I think that age is a really good age to settle down and get married, or not get married, but to find this person or this partner or this group of people. Because I'm not even talking about romance right now at the same time. I'm talking about finding people that you can be emotionally intimate with. And women have, like, if they also have if they have a family and they are mothers, it can take them longer than that, which is why I think motherhood is the hardest job in the world, because women who work, have kids, and they are going to school, that's all I can say, because that is the hardest thing ever. Men don't birth children, and babies need women or the mother for their breast milk more than they need men, because men don't birth children, they don't have the breast milk thing. They don't have the attachment and the nourishment in that way. But also, you do think about adoption, how, like, not only women are the ones adopting. I'm just talking about the biological need for the milk and stuff like that, because women are the ones that birth children. So women, like, are just amazing beings, which is why I think women are stronger than men, not just strength-wise, but and not necessarily strength-wise, but in terms of being able to do so much. Literally birthing a child is, like, the most amazing process in the world. Or being able to create life. To bring forth life, because you create life with a sperm, and we all know about this. Unless you haven't had the birds and the bees talk, I encourage you to talk to your parents now, if they're still alive, or just Google it and YouTube it. But yeah, this is turning out to be a really long video, and I don't like these videos too long. But know yourself, know who you are, figure out your life and your purpose, and the purpose and the thing that you want to improve on, and then think about, okay, these are the kind of people I want to be around. This is a life partner that I want, that's going to help me through my life and who's going to be there for me in times of despair. And be very conscious about who you choose to be around you in those times, whether you're polyamorous or you're monogamous or whatever. Figure out who you're going to be around, because not everyone cares. Not everyone cares. And it's good to find someone and people that do care, because it's rare. It's very rare. So I'm going to let you go here because I'm finally at Target, and love you all. Bye.